Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Hippy Dippy. We are doing Kokoro Connect. It's an anime that has 4 mini arcs. Now then, I'm gonna get right off the bat. Soundtrack, there's one soundtrack that was fucking amazing. It was more suspenseful. It's basically your typical love triangle, but at least this triangle has some closure, unlike the triangle that I recently watched that had the same shit. That's what pissed me off. Alright? This anime is not. This anime is good. All right, I'll give it out of the way. It is good. I might because it's not out of my element. Usually, I watch school comedy, sports animes. This was kind of like, what the fuck is this? I usually don't watch anime that makes no fucking sense. But let me just say this: you got your blonde girl chick who has been raped when she was 14, younger, and she's afraid of men, but she conquers. Does she conquer her fear? Well, yes, she does. By a friend of a guy who's clueless and clumsy, because he acts just like me, trying to help everyone out like a bunch of fucking idiots. So yeah, you also have that guy. You have the guy who doesn't do shit, but he likes to bring up the beat. He's always upbeat and raise the roof and stuff. Like, for example, he tries to make sure that everyone's happy and not he's not trying to force his way into people's lives. The fourth character, she has the most issues in the whole show because she doesn't know who she is because she acts differently towards the situation. It makes no goddamn sense. It's really, really fucking confusing. And the fact that it's really, really real and her life is like her mom, she has a problem with her mom. So her mom's married, she's divorced 5 times. The second the second husband comes back, and he's a drunken asshole who used to beat on his kid. And so they stand up to the guy. This, that, and the other thing. He didn't show the guy, but I'm glad because he's a drunken asshole. After that, though, then she questions who she is, and that's the whole reason. And that's what makes up for the last 4 episodes of it. With that being said, she's the most person who breaks down the most because she doesn't know what to think or feel or whatever the fuck. She doesn't know who she is. And she has the most character development in the whole fucking story. She doesn't get the guy, though. The clumsiness guy. That goes to the other character. The other character. The other character. The other chick that goes at the end of the anime, she's dating him. She's more of uptight. She thinks for herself, and then she falls in love with the kid for some odd fucking reason. So that's a thing, I guess. But yeah, she's focused on making sure her group's perfect and perfectly fine, and this, that, and the other thing. So yes, her and everyone else. Her. Now then, with that being said, there are 4 acts. Okay, 4 major acts because there's only 17 episodes. They're dub or sub, depending on. The last 4 episodes are an OVA because they wanted to make sure that because there's only 13 episodes in the original anime, so they made 4 OVAs to make sure that they get some conclusion of the 5 characters. All right. The blonde chick learns how to fight against herself. I've talked about all the characters. Here's why they managed to upbeat and upheld themselves. Is the fact that I'll get to the first act and the last one I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go from 4 to 1. The fourth act is when they can read people's minds, and then because of that, the character that has the most issues with the identity of herself, she has a mental breakdown in the 4 episodes that are leading up to it. So that's a thing. Okay. The third act is probably the most weirdest one because I didn't understand it. First off, there's a character, and this is the main reason why. There's a character named Seed who tries to make sure that all the characters are trying to get better as people, as human beings, to understand each other. But he does it in the most fucked up way. The third act is completely different because there's a second Seed. He calls himself Seed 2, and he takes over her sister, the main character who's clumsy and stuff. His sister is adorable as fuck, but she's also one of the only side character that shows up for the whole entire series. There's a couple others, but I don't really fucking care. Um, she's the main focal point. She takes he takes care she take he takes care of she ta- he takes she he C2 takes her body and talks to the clumsy guy not to tell anyone, because now that characters are transforming into themselves when they were younger. Basically, he tells them that it's going to be noon to 5. When noon hits, three or two friends in your group are going to be transformed into their younger selves, whether it's 14, 9, 10, 12, a baby, freaking, you don't know. It's like when you're younger or older. And that's what the main issue, that's what the thing is. I don't understand this arc. It makes no fucking sense, but there's only 3 episodes. So I let it slide, but it makes no goddamn sense. Also, before I go into Act 2, the main problem with Act 3 and 4 is the fact that 4 they don't really know, they don't, like, for example, this character that has like all these emotion issues, she stops them to know who the hell she is. They already know, but they act like so fucking stupid towards it, and that's what the main issue I have with the 4th act. The 4th act makes no goddamn sense. Characters act like themselves, they want help, but they don't know why to help her. But then again, they do, because they know who the fuck she is. She's told him before in Act fucking 2. And that's where I'm gonna get to Act 2. Most of the characters in Act 2, their desires comes out. Like, basically, if you want to kick someone's ass, you will do it without hesitation. I have voice in your head says do something, and you are gonna do it no matter what, unless people stop you. It's called emotions in the emotions. You know, you have to have the dark matter inside of you to not do these emotions. You need to punch them in the face, you know. But then we're gonna get to the first act. Okay, the second act is basically to establish the character that goes out with him finally, the clumsy guy. She finally goes out with him because she falls in love with him in Act 2. Okay, Act 1 is probably the most stable, the one that is the most darkest one, because of how the ending happened. Basically, the character that has a lot of problems goes out as and as she starts going out with the guy who's clumsy, because they asked him, "Would you like to go out with me?" And she said, "Yeah." She couldn't say yes because of the fact that C took over, hit her body, and make her jump off the fucking bridge. Okay, the first act is when the characters start swapping bodies. Like, for example, if I'm talking to you right now on this video, and all of a sudden I stop talking because I'm someone else, and I look up and I'm looking at a desert. That means that I switch places with someone else by using their body. You ever seen those movies? That's what the basically 6 episodes are. But they try to conflict everything with her being raped. The blonde hair girl who being raped. The clumsy guy helps her out by teaching her how to kick some people in the nuts. That fucking sucks, especially when he's kicking himself in the nuts because they swap bodies. That makes no goddamn sense. Why the fuck would you hurt yourself just to prove a fucking point? It makes no goddamn sense. It's really, really interesting, and I don't understand it. Alright, so yeah. Soundtrack's good. The main characters are okay. There's some side characters that I don't understand. Like the fucking teacher. He's too fucking stupid because he doesn't know what's going on. But he has the main role in this because of the fact that C takes his body so he can explain it to the 4 what's going on, the 5 main characters what's going on in the scenario that they're in. With that being said, I'm giving it a 7. Look, when it comes to anime that's out of my realm of, school, comedy, and sports, when I see an anime that's like I've never seen this genre that many times, then I give it high praise. But then again, there are some things that I don't understand, especially in the fourth and third act. I mean, the third act makes no goddamn sense on what the fuck is going on, and the fact that it's just mind blowing on why the fuck it's there. Okay, there's an 18 episodes, well, technically 17. There's 17 episodes, 13 in the main story, and 4 in the OVA. If you guys want to watch it, that's perfectly fine. It's good. It's okay. There are some flaws in it, like for example, some characters make no cameos until the very end, which that pissed me off. But whatever. Um, the other side character I want to mention before I end this video is the fact that the school rep is always there, and she is always in the nice scheme of things. She is the one who tries to get everyone involved, which in the beginning part, she has a crush on the lady who has problems, most of the problems in her psychological affair in the whole anime. So, yes, this anime is definitely not for kids. There are some moments where what the fuck? Because I remember when I first watched the episode 6. That's the episode that you're gonna think, well, holy shit, is she actually gonna die? Um, I won't spoil it. She might die. She might not. You'll just have to watch it. Episode 6 is when shit gets real, but then it just peters out to like random shit happening. Third act and fourth act are just completely what the fuck. Third act because it makes no goddamn sense, and I think they just ran out of ideas. And the fourth act is because of the fact that they already knew her problems because the girl that fell in love with her automatically knew it from Act 2, but for some fucking animated reason, he manages to forget all that, and then they have to rebuild the character again in short 4 fucking episodes at the end of the anime. So, yes, because the 4 OVAs are past the point of the 13 episodes because the 13th episode leaves off of a cliffhanger. I hate that when anime does that. It pisses me off sometimes. But I get to 7. Now then, with that being said, I know this video is going to be long because I have a lot of things to say about it, but here's the one anime that, when it comes to anime, I got a request from a person that was on my stream earlier today. He told me to watch 2 animes, and I will get to them. But I have to watch at least one anime while I'm watching those 2 animes. Why, you may ask? Because my backlog is like through the roof. I've got 22 fucking animes on one list that I started watching, but I stopped for some stupid fucking reason, and I have to go back on them. And that's not even all the animes. I can still think of a couple more that are not on the fucking list. So I'm gonna be doing double doses of shit. With that being said, though, I'm gonna be quite busy Saturday, so don't bug me because I gotta get my backlog caught up because I'm sick and tired of seeing this fucking list. But yeah. Also, before I end the video, I would like to give a shout out to Pisces Queen because I'm watching her fucking stream as we speak. So yeah, she's playing Friday the 13th. She likes to play that game a lot. She's actually really good. She's better than me. I tell you that much. Don't tell her I said that though. Actually, no, everyone's better than me at Friday the 13th. I think she's better than everyone. Same goes for her friends KJ, Nikki, Jamie. They're all good. Everyone's good in the whole world. Everyone's my friend, actually, technically. So I hope you guys have a nice, positive day. Take care. And oh yeah, and also have a nice day. Well, no, have a nice night because it's technically night. I might go back and watch the anime. So stay positive. I see. Maybe I don't know. People think I'm just a hoe. No, I'm not. I'm not a hoe. Later, guys. If you ever have another anime suggestion, just put in the comments down below, and I'll see if I watched it. I will say something to it. So later, guys.